Today on the Transplant Helper, we're going to be answering a viewer's question concerning cardiac rehab. Is it necessary? Is it beneficial? As well as toward the end of this, I'm going to be sharing with you several tips, several pieces of advice that I've used in the past to choose a cardiac rehab facility and probably things you can use as well. So go ahead and stay tuned. Hit the subscribe button and click the bell notification to become part of the Transplant Helper community. Hey folks, welcome to Transplant Helper again today. My name is Jim Merle, and today we're going to be answering a viewer's question, which basically the gist of it was, Jim, is cardiac rehab necessary and or beneficial? And if so, how do I go about choosing the right facility/program for me? Well, I'm excited to answer that question. As a matter of fact, I've already been through cardiac rehab twice, once pre-transplant and once post, and although they were very different situations and very different experiences, I think the overall benefit of both of those opportunities was absolutely enormous for me in my life. Now, pre-transplant, I went into cardiac rehab basically because I sat down with my transplant cardiologist one day. She was asking me questions about my exercise program, how long I was exercising, what I was doing, how far I was walking, what have you. And I didn't have any answers for that. I basically told her I stay busy, I stay on the move. I didn't have a set answer, so she basically got aggravated and said, I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to put you in 12 weeks of cardiac rehab. When you get done with that, come back and see me, and then we will talk. So I got sent off to cardiac rehab, I think really with a note that said, kill him if you can. I don't know what it said, but it was rough. I'm talking hardcore exercise, people breathing down my necks. It was difficult, okay? And I think that was by the prescription of such. It wasn't a great experience, but I knew at the end of it I was better for it. Now, on the post-transplant side of things were very different. As a matter of fact, post-transplant, within a matter of a few days, I was up and moving. Within a matter of about a week or so, I was walking about 4 miles or so at once, and so I was definitely having a great recovery. So when the cardiac rehab people came in, the therapist came in to work with me and evaluate me. They basically said, Jim, you don't have to do the rehab program if you don't want to. We'll go ahead and sign off on it if you want it. If you don't, we'll sign off for you to just skip it altogether. Well, I made the choice based on my previous experience with cardiac rehab to go ahead and take the rehab. I told them to sign me up. And so after my 6 weeks of sternal precautions were done, I immediately got in the cardiac rehab program as soon as I could. And so I think overall it is extremely beneficial. You would think I would. I've been twice, but I think there are a lot of benefits to that, mainly which comes down to motivation, to someone holding you accountable, to someone, helping you along the way. It's definitely worth it. You've got access to trainers and rehab specialists and, all sorts of therapists. They're all there at your disposal. You may as well take advantage of it. And for me, there was no cost involved. My insurance covered it 100% because my doctor had signed off on it and deemed it necessary. So it just worked out great. Now, with that being said, I do recommend you going through the programs. But what about choosing the right program for you? How do I go about doing that, and what do I recommend? Well, number one, I think you need to be looking for the right place, okay? Number one, look for the right place. In my situation, at least, UAB Transplant Center, where the cardiac rehab program is associated with it, is there. Spain Rehabilitation. That's about an hour and 15-minute drive for me. So for me to go back over to UAB for that, which I normally do for everything, but for me to go back for that, I knew it would be a tremendous inconvenience. I was already having to make 2 or 3 trips over there a week, for appointments and such as that, for follow-up heart caths and all, and I just knew I probably wouldn't do it. In addition to that, once I drive the hour and 15 minutes, I've got to go through like an 8 or 9-story parking deck trying to find a place to park and then walk literally, huge facility, walk literally a mile back over to cardiac rehab. So it just didn't seem like I was going to do it because it was probably going to be an inconvenience. So I made a choice to choose a local facility. And it just so happens we've got a wonderful place right up the road from us. It's called the Tyler Center. It's basically a physician center, but there's a whole rehab / gym involved and such on the bottom floor. But I went ahead and chose that. It's only about 20 minutes away. Their program was set up for us to where you can come and go as you please. There were no set times, no set appointments. So I knew by that, being closer and being in the right place, it would be something I would more than likely do. Okay. And again, previous experience, I knew it was a good place. I'd already been there. Anyway, so I would choose it based on place or location. Make sure it's accessible to you. Number two, I would choose it based on the facilities. Okay. What are the actual facilities like? In my case, the Tyler Center facilities, they're absolutely great. Again, they're up to date, they're modern. It's a large facility. As a matter of fact, it's multifunctional. When I first go in, they got a little parking lot and a side door just for cardiac patients. When you first walk in the door, the first thing you see is a pretty large open space that's filled with tons of machinery, ellipticals, steppers, you call them steppers, stair climbers, bicycles, treadmills, everything was there and available, and not just one or two, but several of them. So if there were 7, 8 people working out at the same time in there for rehab, you didn't have to wait in line. You didn't have to get off the bike and wait on the guy to get off the elliptical to go there. You could just go right over. There were always plenty to go around. So the facility itself was great. You go through one more door, you end up in a huge area. It's a full gym, tons of equipment, tons of free weights, all sorts of things out there, including a walking track, which we again had full access to. You go through yet another door there to your right, and there was a full, I call it Olympic size, I don't know, it was a full swimming pool available there, all kind of safety equipment, so you could go out and do that lower impact type of stuff, whether you swim or not. I can't swim, but at least it was easy to get in the pool and kind of do some exercises, take some of that weight off of our bodies. And just, again, great facilities there available. In addition to that, one of the real benefits, and I think you should focus in on this in your facility, is make sure if you're a cardiac patient, they've got a way of monitoring you. When we went in, for example, you walk in that first door, the very first thing you do is sign in. Your nurse comes up to you and goes ahead and checks your vitals, blood pressure, all that, heart rate, and then puts a heart monitor on you. And so you wore the heart monitor, a telemetry type thing, so you had freedom to come and go, but you wore that telemetry type heart monitor the entire time when you were there, and there was always someone there monitoring your progress, making sure you weren't getting yourself into trouble, making sure you're getting your heart rate at a target, all that's involved in that. And that really helped me to have a lot of confidence in the facility that they had the right equipment and they were willing to really take care for me. So I would choose it based on the place, based on the facility. Next, I would choose it based on the people. Okay, number 3, base it on the people. Are the staff friendly? Are they hospitable? Are they kind? Are they helpful? In addition to that, are they qualified? Okay. In my facility, which I was thankful for, everybody in the cardiac side at least was either a registered nurse and or a nurse practitioner. As a matter of fact, we actually had a doctor on staff. He wasn't always there. He kind of mixed in and out, but he was always on the grounds and available if anything went wrong. So you had a wonderful staff, very qualified, right there with you, able to help, able to assist, able to answer your questions, really just to make things easier. And even when you went out to the other side of such, you got outside of the next door that I described earlier, that full gym, there were rehab specialists there. There were physical therapists there. Again, there were nurses and just all sorts of people. Again, highly qualified, extremely nice, able to help the whole time. So I would definitely choose it based on the people. And then in the last place, I think this may be number 4 here, I'm not sure. In the last place, I would definitely choose it, and be careful to do this, but I would definitely choose it based upon the plan, okay? Now, my rehab facility, again, I mentioned earlier, had an open door policy. If you were a cardiac rehab patient, you pulled up in a side parking lot, went in one door, and once you were there, you could do that anytime, okay? It wasn't set. You didn't have an appointment, at 9 a.m. Tuesday and 9 a.m. Thursday or whatever the combination was. You had a set number of hours paid for by your insurance provider, set number of hours, set number of visits. For me, it lasted about 12 weeks, time it was broken up. But you just came and go at your own will. Your plan was your plan, okay? And so, getting up any time of the day, maybe you slept in, maybe you got up early, you could go. If it was between 7 and 5, you received all the same treatment. The heart monitors, the great people, all the qualified staff were there. So between 7 and 5, it was open to you. And if you chose to do that on Monday and Tuesday or Monday and Wednesday and Friday, it didn't matter the combination. Anytime during the work week, you could come and go as you please. And that made it tremendously better for me. My life, especially now, having 5 children, 3 of which are pretty small, my life is hectic. I can hardly ever say I'll be somewhere, Tuesday at 10 a.m. And so it was easier to have that flexibility, to have that ability to do that. Now, with that being said, if you got to where you weren't showing up, they give you a call and they say, hey, look, we didn't see you, but once this week, what's going on? They would motivate you. But it was open as far as that. And then even after that, after 5 o'clock, there was not the specified cardiac program necessarily, but they did have another after hours program, which you could make an appointment for, and then go in and get similar type of treatment, similar access to all the facilities. So I think that was great. And then the very end of the plan, which is my favorite part, once you completed your cardiac rehab program, mine happened to be average about 12 weeks. Once you completed that, they offered us an open plan, $20 a month, access to everything, basically save the heart monitor. And I guess if you got in there and got in trouble, they put a heart monitor on you, but access to the same staff, access to the same facilities, go to the pool, go to the gym, whatever. And you can definitely take advantage of that. And $20 a month to go into a place where everybody's qualified, where you feel comfortable, where you're going to be safe, I think that's as good as it gets, okay? So take advantage of that. I want to really encourage you, that even if your facility or program doesn't offer that particular facet of this, I would definitely keep on going. Don't just do your 12 weeks of rehab, say I'm done, it's over. Keep exercising, keep pushing yourself, keep being motivated. Even if that's just, taking a stroll with a family member or a friend, or, just getting yourself in a routine. It's wonderful, wonderful to do. So do I think cardiac rehab is beneficial and necessary? Yes, I do. I think it'll definitely help. But I do think that choosing your facility based on these things can definitely help as well. I hope you've got some benefit out of today's program. If you have, right now would be the perfect time to give me a big thumbs up, like this video. That helps me out a lot. If you've not already a subscriber to the program, today is a perfect opportunity to do that as well. Hit the subscribe button, even the bell notification all beside that. And as always, if you need me, if you have any questions, this was answering a viewer's question, you can definitely reach out to me. Find me over on Facebook at Jim Murrell, that's JimMurrell, or send me a private message that way, or comment below the video, reach out to me on Twitter, Instagram, that's transplant_help for both of those, or at my email, jim@thetransplanthelper.com, and I will be more than happy to help you out and answer any questions or try to support you in any way that I can. Now, finally, let me hear from you today. Let's comment below this. Keep this community going. Did you go to cardiac rehab? And if so, what benefits did you find in doing such? Thanks so much for joining me today. Until next time, each and every one of you, please stay stronger, friends.